What up, y'all? Back for another audio occasion. This is the podcast for self-starters and those willing to make the most out of any situation. Thanks for joining us. We're going to kick this thing off with our audio. It's going to be short and sweet today just because it's the energy I got going, and it's just really just that type of vibe. So let's get it.
Facts.
Put my balls on a pita bread with some hummus and tahini and eat that to the face. You feel me? Mind your fucking business. Nobody asked you anything, my nigga. Shut the fuck up.
That was the audio you wanted to play?
That's the audio.
Okay, damn.
That's
Is that how you feel towards Indiana Pacers fans, or that's just you just going off on what?
Shut the fuck up. Nobody asked you anything, my nigga. Like, nobody asked you anything, my nigga.
Oh my goodness.
Like, when I'm talking about my soul stance about this whole series and guaranteeing, not even guaranteeing, but putting my confidence in these niggas going to the finals and the shit panning out the way it has so far and the conversations I'm having is nobody asked you anything, my nigga. Shut the fuck up. Like, that's that. You know?
Yeah, tell me how you feel.
And the algorithm's probably gonna kick my ass for cursing for the first minute on the audio. Because I think that's a thing or something now. But hey, man, it's that type of vibe. Tell a friend to tell a friend if we get this theme music rocking.
It might be that biggest pod yet.
It might be. Nobody asked you anything, my nigga. Anything. At all. We wasn't talking to y'all. We talking to us.
Knicks fans, repping big energy today.
It's big energy, man, because we get a lot of hate out there, but fuck it, man, we are back. We back in the house.
Yes, sir.
I am the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. 1% 2 times, Mr. EFS himself, D Burke, here with the man Waldo Blizzy. And if you made it to the audio/visual, please do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. EFS Podcast is back for episode number 57. In the house, let my theme music run. A round of applause for the gang back in the house as well. For those of you coming to watch us, wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening from. As we let this theme music fade out, we get to our conversation for the day, and it's big Nick energy still. So I guess we're going to just fade out and get right to that. You know, unless you got anything important on the check-in, how we doing, how you feeling?
Man.
All the other good stuff, mentally, physically.
Feeling good, feeling vibrant, feeling full of.
You woke up since the pre-pod?
Yeah, I'm up. I'm up.
Right,
Got my sustenance in, you know what I'm saying? You'll know what I'm talking about if you watch the pre-pod. But, man, feels good to be here. Feels good. I mean, EFS family, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for rocking with us. This is episode 57. We've been running this drink for a minute now, and you've been here with us. So I just want to say I appreciate you, and I thank you for always tuning in, for always checking in on us, for always wanting to be a part of the journey. So, you know, if you can, tell a friend. Share this content with them. You know what I'm saying? Let them know that you got two of the dopest cats out. Sit on the couch. You know what I'm saying? Ever since niggas were sitting on couches. Okay?
That's probably about right.
That's probably about right. So just come on in.
Ain't too many niggas that sit on couches like, you know.
You know what I'm saying? The vibes is here.
So a lot of niggas sit on couches and the things that come out, I'm just looking at like, what?
What is that, right? What is that?
That's not special.
But definitely.
Love to everybody, but
like
couch ain't like my couch. So.
Comment, share, subscribe if you can. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact, man. Shit, we open this thing up, man. We got to talk about it out the gate. It's Big Nicky. We saw the win.
Yes, sir.
We saw the win. We on the board.
You know what I mean? Round of applause, couple air horns for the Knicks winning, man. I mean, you don't want to. You don't give them nothing.
That's it. That's all they get right now. I'm sorry.
Job not finished. That's the energy you cooking up right now.
I mean, the job not finished. Number one, and number two, these niggas don't really like making shit comfortable for you. The people who support y'all and y'all fan base. You know?
Talk about it.
To be a Knicks fan, literally is at the. How am I trying to put this? To be a Knicks fan, you literally just on the edge of your seat for every fucking game outside the one out versus Boston.
Yeah.
Like, every game of the Detroit series, every game in the Boston series, minus the blowout where we took the series, and now every game in this whole shit that we dealing with the Indiana series, it's just like you on the edge of your seat, bro. Like, you're on the edge of your seat. And I don't really like having to squeak out games like that. Like, my perspective is, like, stop putting yourself in position to have to come back from fucking 20 all the goddamn time. Like, you know. Like, for real. Like,
that's a hard
like
thing.
That ass. Like, it's too hard to do. Like, you ain't going to get too far doing that. Like, the whole comeback kids and comeback Nova Knicks and all that. Like, it's cute. It's cute. But, bro, like, that's not going to get it done. Like,
okay,
you got to come out and dominate. And I think that whole game one thing really changed the energy of the series in total.
Yeah.
Like when you lose a historically bad game like that to start the series, like it's a real, you got to check the energies on a consistent basis as you move forward.
Yeah, they had it though. They had that game.
They had the game multiple ways statistically. Like the whole breakdown of the stats about, the odds of this and that they started putting out in the morning after the game. I'm like, damn, this was bad.
Mm-hmm.
I watched that shit from start to finish. Like, so I was literally in the crib with my niggas popping shit. Like, not with but in the group chat, checking in. Like, yeah, nigga, it's Nick time. Because I told everybody we was gonna blow the doors off these niggas. So we come out the series doing our thing, smacking them like very well, handling the game to start. And then it had that collapse. Like, it was ugly. That was nasty.
Mm-hmm.
That was nasty. That put me in a bad mood for the next morning. And I had to wake up early that next morning, so I anticipated going to sleep a little bit earlier than I had to. Then I got to, actually, because the game went longer than it did.
Yeah.
I got to be up at 4. Y'all niggas fucking around. Like, what you doing? Like, what are you doing? I got to be up at 4. Y'all fucking around. Now I got to stay up late to watch y'all lose like this? Like, no. You don't blow that level of a lead in that short of a time.
Yep.
But which seemed like an anomaly to me because it had to be a crazy set of circumstances for that to even be in play.
Mm-hmm.
With Neesmith hitting all those threes and going bananas in the fourth quarter. With us not being able to hit free throws, not being able to inbound the ball cleanly, not being able to execute, like that kind of stuff put us in position to have to fight for the game in overtime, and then we lost in overtime. Like, so to me, that's like historically bad way to lose that shit. Like
the first game of the series,
20 points in 2.5 minutes is nuts. So, like, to me, you let somebody do that to you. And the second game, like they was sleep. Close game, but for me, from game 1 to game 2, like they was sleep because they came out in game 1 and like, all right, we here to kick y'all ass, like, and then you going back and forth in game 2 and then end up losing that shit too.
Yep.
Like, so game 3, it was cool. I'm glad we got a win. I'm glad we got on the board, but we shouldn't be in this fucking position in the first place.
It should be a 2-1 at least.
So I'm all that grateful, like, yeah, we got one, and like, no, you better get one because the standard should be that you supposed to be better than this team. From my perspective, and now no shade to Indiana because they clearly shown that. Listen, don't sleep on us.
Is a bona fide superstar now.
Tyrese is a nerd. I'm sorry.
Okay, whoa.
I'm sorry. Tyrese is a nerd. That whole choke shit pissed me off. It pissed me off. I know I'm biased. I know I'm a Knicks fan, but that whole choke shit pissed me off. You couldn't wait to do it, bro. You couldn't wait to do it. It's like one of the most cheesy things that basketball players can't wait to recreate, and it didn't even have the same effect because the game wasn't over that. Yeah, you won. Cool, all that shit. But that choke shit, bro, like, you're a nerd. You're a nerd. You doing that shit like you said, what did he say about that shit in the post game?
I don't know.
He said, like, aura farming is what he called it. You know what
farming.
new terms.
Yeah, new terms.
You're going to say I'm aura farming if I do it again. Like, bro, you couldn't wait to do it the first time. Like, you're corny. Yeah. You're corny. That's why everybody overrates you.
Moment.
Like,
it was
that's
a big moment.
What it is.
Because I didn't think that ball was going in.
Nah, it wasn't.
It was just like the phantom.
That's what I'm saying. That game was it was historically bad because that ball going in the rim the way that it did was literally fluke shit.
It was like, what?
Fluke shit. Like,
and it just so happened his toe was on the line.
Right.
It just so happens on the line.
So the drama in that game, like, bro, I have to wake up at 4. I got to wake up at 4. I don't want to have to watch, like.
Highly entertaining. Highly entertaining.
I mean, yeah, sure. If you're just looking at it from a basketball.
Yes.
Like,
I mean, you're obviously looking at it from a team.
I ain't trying to see that shit, bro. I ain't trying to see that shit at all. I'm here to support y'all. I want to get the fuck out of here when I want to get the fuck out of here. TV off and I'm going to sleep. I got to
go to bed.
Like, TV off and I'm going to sleep.
I'm going to bed. Listen.
So we got one.
Do you feel like
PSA is still Knicks in 6? So
interesting. So you feel like the next 4 games is all Knicks?
It's Knicks in 6 still.
Interesting.
It's Knicks in 6 till it's not. Like, it's literally that.
Y'all said 6, so Knicks in
6 until it's not.
So it's gonna be a 4 games. Boom, 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 boom. All right, we'll see what happens.
Like, the thing about Indiana is great team, well put together and well coached. And I do like a lot about Indiana, because they go about the game with a different level of, like, underdog mentality and like grit and grind and fight. They got that in them, And the fact that they do it by collective is a good thing to see from a team perspective. But the individual pieces on that team don't really impress me like that to think that they should be fucking with us the way they be doing. Like, it's literally they're out hustling us. They out tacticaling us. They outdoing all the other things that, when you look at it just a talent perspective, we should have more than they do. Like, we do. Tyrese Halliburton, he's not a bad player. Is he overrated? Is he not? I don't know. I don't necessarily love his game.
I think his rating is fair. I think it's good. It's right where it's at. He's not overrated.
You can't say that if you're the most overrated player ranked in the league. It was Jalen Brunson, most Mr. Clutch, and he was ranked the most overrated player in the league.
By other players.
Right. Players know.
But I think they're biased too.
How they biased?
Because they don't like him. Let's be honest. They don't like him.
Being likable is a thing. Like,
I know. I'm just saying, like, when you're saying these things, that these are players that don't like the player, that are ranking the player as overrated. Of course, they ain't going.
Like, being liked is also a thing. Like, being likable to the guys that the NBA brotherhood and all the other shit, versus being an asshole or whatever they call him, and then having a game that's like, you all right, but you ain't really like that.
I don't know if we can say that at this point.
Why can't we?
He was just up 2-0 with the Knicks.
Pascal Siaka saved him in game 2.
Now Pascal, is he overrated, underrated? I think
Pascal is rated. He's an NBA champion.
Yeah,
he was the second best player on that team when Kawhi won, or the second most consistent player.
And
I think
Tyrese is better than Pascal. That's what I'm saying.
I don't think Tyrese is better than Pascal. Like,
okay, that's fair. I don't agree with you, but okay.
I mean, as far as his role on the team, yes, he is. But his role for what he fulfills is different than Pascal. Pascal is a forward. Halliburton's the point guard. He runs the show. So for you to have the ball in your hands that much, and I'm not saying that he's a bad player. Like, I do like certain things about his game, but I don't really like certain things about his game as well. Like, I like that he's pass first, but I don't think he's I don't think he's hit like that, Not yet, at least, not from what I've seen.
Okay.
I'm not saying that, has to win things can't change. I mean, he got to win, and he has to have more of a stamp on the game, I think. Like, he has to have more of a stamp on the game consistently. Like, his numbers this year were good enough to get him to a certain conversation, but his numbers this year weren't, like, freaking stellar to where they jump off the page like, oh, what is he doing out here? Like, I mean, he's good, but he don't do that to where it's, like, impressive
Olympic
enough
medalist,
to be. The nigga didn't play. Like, let's be honest.
Jason Tatum didn't even play.
Okay, cool. And he's even low on the totem pole than Jason Tatum. Like,
I'm just saying.
Even lower on the totem pole. Like,
I'm just saying he is proving now with his team that he's worth even the conversation. That's all I'm saying.
He's worth the conversation of, you playing my team, but I don't think he's worth the conversation of, like, he's not out of the whole quote unquote overrated thing. Like,
okay. That's fair. I'm not a Tyrese Halliburton fan either.
I personally just think he's corny. Like, I'm sorry. Like, and that's just it for my side of it. And I'm not down there. And nothing's wrong with corny or being, but certain things,
like it.
personality wise, don't really vibe with me.
I think I saw.
And his game in general, it just doesn't jump off the papers to be like, oh, he's like one of the nicest niggas in the league like that. Is he one of the top? Yeah, he's you can't go against the accolades, but I'm talking about his actual game, and that's what the players is talking about. Your actual game is overrated, and that's where everybody's looking at it like that. So all the people are saying like, oh well, they just hating on him, etc. Like, bro, your game is overrated. I think it's also the personality to it. When you got Tim Hardaway, one of the NBA legends, calling you out early this season, like, I would if it was me nowadays, I would lock his out. Like, I'm on Halliburton. Like, when you got OGs calling you out like that,
what
bro. Right, exactly. And I don't mean to make this a Tyrese Halliburton hate session. I'm sorry, but that whole choke shit, I wasn't vibing with that, bro. Like, I was not vibing with that.
He put it up, man. Reggie Miller was hated by New York.
It's like, and that's the crazy thing about all the other the Garden too. That's how you know you niggas really got to bow down to historical shit. Like, the Garden is the Mecca, and everybody wants to do something in the Garden, recreate things in the Garden, or like have that moment in the Garden. Like,
it's a beautiful venue
in the Garden,
historic venue.
Freaking Trae Young a couple years ago when that series with the Knicks, and he was the most hated man in the Garden.
It was crazy,
and he's just playing into it. He likes that shit. Kobe back in the day.
Trae and like I'm sorry, I'm not trying to stay on Tyrese, but I just want to compare because you brought his name up. Is Trae
better than Tyrese?
Better than Tyrese.
I'm taking Trae over Tyrese.
Interesting.
Not for nothing, Trae Young also assists the ball at a very high level.
He does. He does.
You know,
That's what
very
he's been
high
focused
level.
on.
And
a lot
everyone
lately.
just talks about Tyrese Halliburton's passing and all the other stuff. Trey is, listen, here and there when you look at that, neck and neck. Better shooter? Who? Trey, easily. Better finisher at the rim? I would probably say Tyrese is a little bit taller. He's a little bit more athletic, you know. But in overall game, I like Trey better than Tyrese.
Okay.
If I'm just, you know, that's my personal perspective.
I think Trey can be a little bit of a liability on defensive end. I think
So can Tyrese.
I think Tyrese is better though. Just in comparing the two. Just comparing the two. And then I think
Trey's smaller, but yeah, sure.
Yeah. I mean,
That's gonna make you more of a liability.
Yeah.
Always in the NBA.
I'm just looking at it. I think in terms it comes to the hate from the Knicks. I don't know if I think Tyrese has gotten just notched above in terms of hating who they hate more.
Yeah. Oh, right now, it's fuck Tyrese right now. It's fuck Tyrese. Trae Young, you Gucci, bro. You said some shit the other week. I can't even remember what it was about. That ain't had nothing to do with you. And I was like, why? But, you know, you good right now. And you home. You in Cancun. I can't really hate on you.
You in Cancun.
You got your toes up. You in vacation.
Yeah,
Tyrese, it's fuck Tyrese till it's not.
Fuck
like,
Tyrese, huh?
Real shit, bro. Don't do that choke shit in the garden, bro. Nah.
Reggie in the garden all the time. Reggie there all the time.
Facts. And Reggie could do it because Reggie did it. And he lost that series too.
He did lose.
Everybody's talking about.
He did lose.
Yeah, so let that shit bite you in the ass, and you know, send your ass off to Cancun in a couple. It's still Knicks is 6, man. We're not fucking changing our opinion. Knicks is 6 till it's not.
I love it.
Knicks is 6 till it's not. Hopefully this shit wake him up. Zesty Cat, yo, listen, we need that type of shit. Fourth quarter last night,
snapped.
we need that.
He snapped.
We need that. You know,
I like when he gets, and I won't say Zesty, but I like when he gets aggressive and shows up. Like as a big man, as a dominant, like he's shooting threes still. He's still doing things, but you could see he's playing with a chip on his shoulder. And that level of aggressiveness is what they need in every game.
I need that every quarter, every game. I don't need him to just turn it on and off. That's the thing.
Consistently.
Like, game 1, the way he came out and played is that what I need every game for you. I'm not saying everything's gonna look the same statistically. Yes, games change. They change coverages. There's adjustments throughout a series. I get that. But the mentality piece of it, to me, is like what I need to see every time with him. You know, Mikal Bridges, too. Like, Mikal Bridges, to me, is the number one X factor in the success of this team when it comes to...
Break that down. Why you say that?
Because he's the guy that they brought over from the Nets to fill a certain role, again, to match the top teams in the league.
Yeah.
OG was already there. They re-signed OG. 3-and-D guy. He could score a little bit. Mikal Bridges averaged 20 on another team. So you got to figure he can give you a certain amount of production when you bring him into the Knicks. And he is here a lot of times, but he's here a lot of times too. I just need him to stay here as much as possible because we can rely on a certain amount from you and just a certain level of like, this is you trying to put your stamp on the game. Like, he don't even look at the basket sometimes, which pisses me off when he go into the rim. Like, just watching the game from like you got to look at the rim, bro. Like, he's not dribbling, driving a score. He's not driving an attack a lot of times. It's like, bro, Jalen Brunson is small. They got Neesmith like in his ass, literally falls from the time he comes out the locker room. Like, bro, like dude is not giving up an inch on him.
Full court press, whole
trying very hard to keep him from doing anything. Of course, you can't stop JB fully, but yeah, you're gonna make it tough on him. They're gonna keep doing that to Jalen. We need somebody else consistently to fill that second and third role to where we give JB a little bit of room to operate later on in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like we saw last night in the fourth quarter, but it's like everybody waits till it's too fucking late or almost too late to just turn it on and try to bring it back to the square when you down 20. Like, you can't rely on that, bro. That's the thing that pisses me off about this team most. Like, keep it close the whole time, and then from there we got a real shot late because you're not having to expend so much energy into coming back. And now you got to fight through that part of it, and then you already fatigued because you're only playing 7 guys. Like,
yeah, and that's that. I think that you talking about playing 7 guys is coaching at the factor that we're missing out on. Like, I feel like
I'm on record, bro, before this series, like with Tibbs.
It's over for Tibbs if he loses.
If they would have lost that game last night and eventually ended up getting swept, because if they lost that game last night, I would have hoped they got swept because I don't want to keep seeing that shit for longer for you to have to, like, ain't that much history with 7. Like, I wasn't going to believe you was coming back from that. But if they lost that game last night and eventually end up getting swept, yeah, Tibbs, I think Tibbs might have to get out of here.
Is his strategy just not changing players? It feels like they're just kind of like sticking to the starting five the whole game. Is that
my thing? I mean, you have to play the starters a certain amount. Like, you have to. Like, it's just how that shit goes. There's contracts in play. There's, like, there's expectations in play, all that. So you have to play the starters a certain amount. I just don't understand why Tibbs oftentimes goes with certain people in this line. Like Landry Shamet, I don't know why Landry Shamet hasn't been playing this whole playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Landry Shamet is a solid pro for multiple teams throughout a lot of years in the league at this point.
Right.
Can shoot the ball, can defend, can do all the little glue guy things to just keep you level as far as not losing much when I put you in the game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be Jalen Brunson's production. We can't expect that. Cameron Payne is like feast or famine. So I can understand using him to see if he gets hot and then keeping him rolling. But Landry Shamet to me is like a solid player that you can rely on consistently to give you X amount. And it's just effort and a little bit of production to keep you afloat. You know what I'm saying? And if you get hot, maybe he can hit 3-4 threes for you that night.
3-4 threes.
You know what I'm saying? With that kind of capability. So I don't understand why he doesn't rely on a certain part of his bench. Just after Deuce McBride, you ain't really rocking with nobody after that coming off the bench.
No.
He started freaking Mitchell Robinson, which I thought was a fucking mistake, and it turned out to be a mistake because he was down 20. So I don't understand what Tibbs be doing. And he has this old school kind of mentality to where it's kind of just stubborn and it just don't look like he really adjusts like to the times. Like,
Yeah, he's definitely old school for sure.
And outside of that, offensively, whoever's running the offense on that team, like, fire them next season, bro. Like, fire them. Like, we're not getting, and I know it's a lot of pick and roll in the NBA, but even the whole Jalen Brunson holding the ball too long thing, I just think that a lot of it is what we put in place or like schematically on the offensive side of things.
Yeah.
Like, we don't be running shit. We don't be running shit for real. And I know most teams don't run shit, but for you to not run shit with a bunch of players who don't feel comfortable to just be themselves, because if Mikal Bridges felt a little bit more comfortable being himself, his production would go up. OG Anunoby, sometimes he up, sometimes he down, but if he felt more comfortable, like the continuity of the team just don't look like it's there a lot of times. With enough talent to have been a team again that everybody, or even at least Kendrick Perkins, I remember him saying this specifically, this is the best starting five in the NBA before the season when we acquired Mikal Bridges. Like, certain shit you shouldn't have to worry about with the best starting five in the NBA. Like, so it's a coaching thing, it's a continuity thing. And in general, it's like it's a mentality thing, an effort thing for me with these guys. You know? But I'm still rocking with them Knicks in 6. Like I said.
Knicks in 6. What about the Timberwolves OKC? What's your thoughts on that? Because I know we're the OKC's up 2-1 now.
Very bad loss
as of this podcast.
Very bad loss for OKC, that last one. But I kind of figured it was gonna go somewhat like that. I didn't think they was gonna get the doors blown off on them the way they did. But, Minnesota was going to get one, the first one.
But do you think the Minnesota would have won, was that game 1, had Anthony Edwards not got injured mid-game?
Potentially. Maybe. Maybe not.
Okay.
I don't know. I still think OKC has enough to get to the finals, so I would favor them over Minnesota, and I guess I never really gave my pick for that series because we were so focused on the Knicks. But
no, that's right. It's been a crazy time.
No, but I think OKC is the clear-cut. Not clear-cut. I think OKC is the better team by a few different, metrics and just what I believe in is going to get them past. But Minnesota's still lacking a little bit, I think.
I mean, it didn't look like it the last game. I'll tell you.
But it's for sure. So
if they do more of that, it'll be a long night for OKC.
Yeah, but
it's crazy.
OKC wire to wire was one of the best teams in the NBA, the best team in the NBA.
But look at the Cavs.
Reasons.
Look at the Cavs.
I mean, true, but that's different. Cavs just got there. OKC been there little by little every single year.
Every
year
they've
been building up to it.
Better,
Cavs just got hot last year. Nobody was expecting the Cavs to do what they did this year.
They did a great job, but they ain't here no more.
That's a fact. It's a double.
Sipping mojitos.
No doubt.
And pina coladas. So I just don't want to put, the cart before the horse here and give OKC the crown of the West Coast before we see something, that is a shock. Because Ant is adamant, and I think for me it's like Ant is representative of a whole cultural side of the NBA, right? He comes to me from a class of the Allen Iversons and just a different era of basketball player versus
No doubt.
OKC or even Cat, the zesty Cat over there. So it's to me, it's like there's different elements to the game that Ant brings, which I love. That's why he's one of my favorite players. He has aggression and a passion for the game that you just don't see it a lot.
I mean, no doubt. Ant is the people's champ. Like, Ant is the nigga that you don't want to give a microphone, that you put in front of a microphone, and everybody likes him, and he got the game to kind of back it up. Like, he's super relatable to all the people that come from a certain section of society. So, so a lot of people rock with him because of that. I just think that, and Shea's the better player right now.
I mean, he is.
They have the
MVP.
He is the MVP.
He is.
And we'll get to that in a little bit.
Okay,
I'm saying, but I just think that the Thunder have more, and the Thunder are a lot more sound defensively than the Timberwolves are. Even with Rudy Gobert, like, I think the Thunder are the more sound defensive team, and they go out there and they execute that shit on a high level. They've been doing it all season, and they've been doing it in this playoffs. The other night, the wheels just fell off, or whatever you want to call it, in that game. And it's going to be hard when you travel on the road in that scenario to where you blew the doors off these niggas the first two games, and they're really desperate. So,
the intensity was there.
It was there.
They was like, we're not letting this slide.
And shout to them, because that's what you're supposed to do. Like, that's what you're supposed to do in that scenario. Yeah, you're supposed to come out there like that, and we see what they do in this next game. So that's going to be the game that kind of is a telltale one in the rest of the series. I still think OKC got it, but Game 4 is going to be the biggest game of the series.
It's tonight, as of we're recording this pod. It's tonight.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what happens, because I definitely think it'll be every stop will get pulled on each end. And one of the stops I'm tired of seeing, I think, and it's in both series, the referees have been calling a lot of, like, it's been lopsided calls, man. It's been lopsided. I don't understand, like, how do you not look at the game and go, they're calling more for one team versus the other?
Not to harp on it, but that shit last night was getting every Nick in foul trouble that touched the court was nasty.
It was crazy to me.
And they saw Scott Foster was doing the game. They showed it before, and Scott Foster, if you know, has a reputation for So I'm like, oh yeah, we got it, which we did end up getting it, but I thought it was gonna go the other way, where the Pacers had all the fouls, and we got fouls for literally touching niggas with our fingertips.
Exactly. It's like, I'm like, I just don't see how the game can be fair and objective when you have so much interference in key moments from referees. I just don't like it. I think it's become almost like it's a fix, man. I'm not trying to say the whole league is fixed. I'm just saying there's moments in the games where it's just like, that don't make sense.
I mean, I believe Adam Silver want the Knicks in the finals, and I'm gonna ride with that until we get to the finals.
I don't know. I don't know if they do. I think they want. What's the name? I think they
Indiana.
Want Indiana.
Who's running up the numbers for the finals? The
only reason why I say that is because I think because they don't want New York to be destroyed. Because I think if they're gonna be worse than Philly.
It's gonna run up the numbers.
They're gonna be like Philly.
It's going to run up the numbers. They want to see the big market team in the finals. It just works better for the financials. Trust me. Like,
tell me if I'm wrong. Is this the sign that we're entering a new era of NBA?
In what sense?
In the sense that none of the OGs are in the finals. Final Four teams.
Refer back to episode whatever when you and Dom was on the couch telling me I was crazy because I said it might be the end of an era when KD and LeBron and Steph were not going to see any more rings. Like, refer back to what episode that was, and lo and behold.
But just because it was the end of that era, I didn't know if it was the beginning of a new one. It seems like it's the beginning of a new one.
For these niggas, bro.
It feels like it's now the new era.
It's over for LeBron, it's over for Steph, and it's over for KD. You know?
Yeah. I think it's over either way.
Great careers, but Father Time is what it is.
It is.
Now we got a whole bunch of new people trying to battle to see who's the crown. Like, JT, get well soon again. Or speedy recovery, you should say. But now we got Ant, we got SGA, we got all these players. Shoot, Jalen Brunson even. Jalen Brunson is for all NBA now. Yep. So, Tyrese Halliburton too, but we ain't really jacking.
Oh, you keep hating on Jalen.
But either way, like, we got a bunch of new people now that's kind of like, fighting for those spots. And we still got other older people like that transitional generation, I guess. Like
What you
Giannis
mean transitional generation?
was still around when LeBron, KD, and Steph was doing their thing, and they're not really old guys because they're not as old as them, like the Giannis's, like the Jokers, like these
Embiid.
are Embiid. These are long time players and vets now, but they're not they're not dinosaurs.
They're not dinosaurs. What you calling?
I call myself that.
LeBron,
so, I'm calling
Kevin
these niggas
Durant,
dinosaurs too. Yeah,
Steph Curry's dinosaurs.
What dinosaur? From
Fresh
an
off an
athletics
Olympic. You know what I mean?
You're still a dinosaur.
Damn.
You're the one that everybody's still, oh wow, but you're still a dinosaur, bro. Like,
pterodactyls.
When niggas got to say, how is you doing this for this long? Like you're a dinosaur. Like,
oh man,
you're a dinosaur. It is what it is.
Yeah, you got a point. But my question is, should we create a new name for this era?
Nah, these niggas don't deserve no name yet.
They don't deserve a name?
Who?
I don't know. I'm just saying for the era in terms of the way the game is played, right? The positionless era. I don't know because everybody's playing
clout babies.
Clout babies, the clout baby era. No, I'm thinking
clout babies led by Tyrese Halliburton.
Oh, come on, stop. I'm just thinking because everybody's able to shoot a three. Everybody's able to, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know what you're gonna call them, man.
It's a different era. I just don't know what the era would be called.
And if you don't know, then they don't deserve no name.
Okay, that's fine.
That's the way I'm looking at it. It's clear. I shouldn't have to think it up too much to call y'all something.
Okay.
Call y'all losers because ain't none of y'all won shit yet. So
losers is crazy. We gonna have a winner this time soon enough.
Yeah, we're gonna see. It's gonna be a new NBA championship or champ at the end of the season.
Yeah, but no, that hasn't had it
for one of the stars
in a very long time or ever.
Like that. So
I'm excited. I'm excited.
We'll see, man. Hoops out the way. We move forward. This one hits close to home, I guess.
Does it?
It does.
Because of the city or because of the?
Because of the city.
Yeah.
And because I've been divorced, so.
Oh shit. Go ahead. You got this one. You after that opening. You know what I'm saying? You got this one.
Remy and Pat, man. Remy and Pat. Black love, historical. Stature and just the eyes of the community and just everything that embodies and they exude the union, the togetherness, that, and just to watch it crumble as far as it has in our faces up to this point, And it's been a while. I haven't personally said anything about it on this podcast because somehow we just kept skipping the topic as they've been wilding over the past year and a half, every few months.
It's been a lot of
and all of like that. To me, I don't know how we haven't gotten here, but we're gonna get here now because this whole crop of just this new social media, like tit for tat back and forth is gotten a little bit out of hand from my perspective, man. So I did want to open up some perspective on it. Have you seen most of the recent updates regarding
I've seen bits and pieces. I don't really entertain the crazy riffraff too much. I just seen, he was on talking about how he wrote her rhymes and things like that. And
well, by the time this is out, all the details.
Go ahead.
It's been quiet for enough days now for, you to recap in other people's posts and all the other shit. But thoughts on the union collapsing in front of us like this? As someone who's married with a wife with child. What does this show you?
How
your future could turn out?
You crazy, yo.
I said could. I ain't say will.
I know, right, yo. But here's the thing. Keeping it off of me in my relationship. But I look at people's understanding of marriage, of love, of connection. And I often see how pain can turn someone that you used to be so close with into an enemy that you want to fight to the death with. And it's not because you don't like them. It's not because you don't have true feelings for them. It's because you feel betrayed by them. You feel like you've given them something or a piece of yourself that you can't get back. So I think in the Remy Ma, Papoose situation, Papoose felt like he got betrayed and is incapable of forgiving that person Remy being a person from what she did. And I
small pushback. Pap has said openly that he's forgiven her. He took her back after she cheated.
That's fair. That's
and she
fair.
cheated again.
That's fair. Like I'm not saying
this is per this, whatever circulated.
Right. And I'm not saying that he didn't forgive her or the idea of her that he had, right? What I'm saying is who she is and who he believes her to be may not be the same thing.
Oh, no, that's a fact now.
Right. And what he forgave may have been the idea of her that he thought he had. And she may have never forgiven herself, which is a whole nother conversation.
I don't think she's trying to forgive herself because she said openly, like, I regret nothing that I did, like, all that. Like, you have your own side in this relationship getting to this point for XYZ. Like, I ain't gonna go into all the messy details of it because it's mad messy.
Yes, messy.
But, she's also said that I don't give a fuck. Like, sign the papers, nigga, and I'm done. Like that type of vibe.
So when I think about all of this, you know what I mean? I think about, wait, they got a daughter together. Like that's the part that I look at and I go, I feel bad because one, it's in public. Everyone's in your business, right? So now your daughter has to go look and see stuff online about your mom and or her mom and see stuff about her dad. It's just it's not what we want from people in our community that are top tier of high level. So I feel bad or have empathy for the child in the scenario. Divorce is always difficult. It's no way to make that easy. Like, yep, great job. Thank you for your time. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you doing a contract extension or you just like waving it like, you know what, go out in the free agency. Like it's not, to keep it basketball. It's not like you got the 10-year contract and you go, you know what, after reviewing, our budget for the next upcoming year, we're going to go a different direction and we're going to trade you to the, to the New York Knicks.
Willing to renegotiate nowadays, I'm telling you. Like,
it's not there. So for me, when I look at the scenario with Remy and I look at the scenario, Papoose, like Pat would put himself in a position that was deleterious from the jump, where he kept himself, with a woman that was in prison. And it's just a lot, bro.
It's a lot, and I ain't here to say who's wrong or who's right. Like,
or flip that. I'm sorry, I got it backwards anyway. But go ahead.
Nah, I got my own take on it as far as how it transpired. Whatever feelings sparked the disconnect from the jump to where, y'all are separated and doing your own thing, or she cheated on him and then they separated multiple times. I don't know. The feelings that led to things getting to the point where it's at right now. I'm not really judging who's at fault with that. The number one thing that's the nastiest to me is y'all both 40 plus on the internet airing out y'all dirty ass laundry for people who don't really give a shit like that. To mudsling and try to discredit the other person and all that, and move with a little bit more stand-upness about yourselves and your relationship. Like, and again, to your point, like, yeah, you do have a child involved. So everything y'all do now in public does affect her in some way, shape, or form at some part of her life. She could look back and see the drama. She may be, she's experiencing some level of change, and this, like, really right now, the most sensitive point, for your kid when y'all split up and all that, the first couple of years. So all that, having a daughter and flipping her life upside down in that way, to then now you literally are going back and forth on the internet, responding to the ex, responding to the new girl as the ex, and then now I got to clear it up, so let me talk about my side of it, and now I'm responding to you because you said this, and like, this shit is nasty, man. This shit is nasty. For people that you really put on a pedestal, or people put on this pedestal, I wouldn't say that, because y'all know my perspective is don't put none of these niggas on the pedestal. It just shows you that everybody ain't as like bulletproof as you think, or people relationships is not.
Yeah.
And to see this is just sad and nasty. Like, and you wish some people who have a lot, quote unquote, a lot more to lose than than myself or something like that, it looks like y'all childish, both of y'all at this point. And I thought Pat, was a little bit more of a like private person as far as how he deals with things, and he's kind of been pushed into the public light with this thing and having to respond in certain allegations, and apparently he beat up a dude and he knocked him out, that kind of shit. He was supposed to have snuck him. This is all allegedly. I don't know, but for me, like, when it gets to that point, shit is just mad messy. And I know y'all celebrities, so people kind of want to know, but people don't really give a fuck about y'all like that. Keep y'all shit going in private, bro. Like, keep y'all shit going in private. Like, I don't want to have to deal with the like, looking at y'all a funny kind of way. And Remy, I do kind of look at her a funny way now. As many women and all that shit defend her. Like, certain things about the way she's moved in this have made me see her in a different light than I might have before. Like,
I thought she would stand up for a long time.
Yeah, like, stand up shit is not, and
okay, she's
not to down her in that way, but stand up shit is not having the nigga you fucking shaking the hand of your ex-husband or ex or whatever in that way. Like, that's foul.
That's not the way you want to do it.
On principle, on man shit, I would have knocked his ass out too, just for that. Like, I'm not shaking no nigga's hand who I'm fucking his girl or his wife and all that. So for even you to be in that position as the new guy, like, that's some whack shit too. And she should be checking that kind of behavior from the new nigga, but it seems like she's egging it on and encouraging it in a certain sense, while Pap and his girl is trying to handle things from a let's just keep it quiet perspective. And, because she said something on the interview on the Breakfast Club, you responded to that when, it's not a situation to where she said anything negative about you, and it's just all messy, man. It's just
it's messy, man. It's so messy.
And it's, again, going back to my own personal experience with this, is you can do things one way or the other. Like, and one way is going to make you feel better in the moment, and it's going to last a lot longer, versus just holding shit down and dealing with what you got to deal with in private, and then having things level out or just piece up in a certain kind of way.
Calm it down.
Over time, And I keep, lightly made fun of my relationship fallout and divorce and all that shit. But myself, and credit to my baby mom, because Mother's Day just recently passed, so got to give us some shout outs on that.
Yeah.
But, like, we, for the most part, handle shit like a G. Like, for me, personally, because I could have took so many opportunities to just, and I'm not Remy and Pap, so,
Obviously, that situation's a lot more toxic. Yeah,
right.
Saying.
So, I ain't got that much of a big following, but in principle, I don't think that changes for me if I'm a celebrity. Like, I'm not sitting around and just
the conditions
too, public.
Though. But if the conditions were a little different, I think.
What conditions?
The cheating and all that.
I'm still not.
You're not moving like that?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
I'm still not.
That's a different energy about you.
Because even if that happens and, it's fucked up, but that's still the mother of your child. So you still got to operate with a certain level of, we got to deal with this shit internally. Because whoever's on the outside of this whole situation ain't going to be the ones that got to figure out how we, handle raising our kid going forward.
Yeah.
And there's two ways you can do that too, which is very, very ugly, very, very tit for tat, very back and forth, to where I can't even talk to you, speak to you, be around you. Or you could handle that from a level of just one, understanding, strategicness about how you let people enter that space to even judge the other one, and move forward with one outcome versus the next, So I'd rather prefer to move forward in a way that is, like, more peaceful, if somehow you can get to that point. And I know it's hard. We're all humans. We all have feelings, emotions, and, we get into a scenario often to where we let our emotions affect our actions, which then creates a certain path for us forward versus another, And I think being like mindful enough to see different ways to go about it is, also smart. And cheating is one thing, but again, that's still the mother of your child,
Facts.
And it's still from a perspective of, like, how do I make this work as peacefully as possible? And, her side of it too, same thing, because that's the father of your child,
Yep.
So handling it on both sides from a very, again, we got to make sure that we move in lock in step with certain things as much as you can, because once you separate, that ain't really it ain't gonna really be like that. Y'all changing lives, y'all really separating as two. So you got to be your own person, you got to be your own person. But when it comes to the public, and when it comes to just how you let things creep in to then create that toxic ass dynamic, it's one or two ways you can go about it for me. And the level of disrespect you put out there, it then fuels that kind of behavior to where there's no really repairing it. And then things are getting uglier and uglier and uglier to where, again, you can't talk to each other, speak to each other, or be around with each other at all. Like, and that's not the vibe for me.
Yeah.
For me.
It took me a long time to get to that level where I can accept some things. You know, past me, I would react and like go back and forth until I leveled up past the person's like disrespect. So if you disrespect me, I'm going 2 times 2.
And you can still do that. Not saying that's my mindset, but you can still do that, but keep it quiet. Like,
yeah, well, that's the last thing I was doing, was keep it quiet. But I've learned that it's like it's never ending. With some people, they will go as far as you were willing to go, even further, actually, to a point where you're just sitting there like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Why am I don't even forgot the reason why I'm mad. I've been going on this journey for so long.
That's what I'm saying, the emotions.
Yeah.
The
So
emotions.
I don't allow that to happen. I nip it in the bud. I'll be the first to apologize 9 times out of 10.
I mean, there's certain things you can't apologize for. If your wife cheat on you, you ain't got shit to apologize for. Like, that's...
Well, I think there is, in my opinion. That's me. Because
that's a different story.
If you felt
unless I cheat first, like that type of vibe.
Well, that's fair, but I'm talking about even if cheating on someone, if you felt like that was the only way to get like whatever you needed, and I wasn't able to provide that for you, then I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't give you the space to like even operate in a place where you could feel like you could tell me that's even on your heart or even in your mind. That is the part I think is where you could be like, I'm sorry I didn't give you the space to operate from a place where you felt comfortable enough to even talk to me about that. But that's from years of therapy, levels of understanding, way past the norm. I'm not saying everybody can be there. I'm not saying it's even a fun place to be.
I'm trying to get there, no disrespect, but
I'm not saying it's a fun place to be, but it is something that where you can just get to a place where it's not a sympathy thing. It's an understanding thing, right? And I think when I'm saying apology, I'm not saying I forgive. I'm not even saying I'm allowing it to be acceptable, right? Because a lot of people put acceptability to apology. Like if you say you're sorry, it's like, oh, it's your fault. I'm not looking at fault. I'm looking at when you say like if you open a door, right, and you don't hold it for somebody, and someone walks and tries to get to that door, do you say sorry for that person for the door closing on them? Even though it had nothing to do with you, you were just opening the door for yourself. It had nothing to do with it. You didn't close that door on them. The door is just closing. It's operating as it's supposed to.
Depending if I love you or not. If I don't, then
exactly. And sometimes in situations where you're not necessarily closing the door on them, but you're not holding it open either. And I think that's what I'm trying to speak to in terms of like saying an apology for somebody else doing something that hurts you. It's not necessarily saying that you did something wrong. It's that, man, I didn't even know I was supposed to have that door open for you. I didn't even know that was a door that I needed to keep open for you while I was walking through it.
I mean, that's fair, but then in that case, then my pushback on that is then I got to put the onus on the other person for communicating what they need.
That's fault. Yes, they're supposed to do that.
Right. So
I'm not saying
I can't then say that, I feel like I have anything to vocally apologize for just because if I don't know something about you, it's because you didn't tell me, Not to say, that's always
fair.
the case.
Yeah, but
if I don't know something that you actually need that's going to make you feel like fulfilled or make you fulfill like this relationship is sound, then you got to vocalize that as the person who needs that.
Yes.
And then it's my job from there to then say, all right, cool, I'm going to lean into that. And then from there, we can move forward understanding that this is how you are and this is what I want to do to step up and be there for you in that way.
Yep.
Or I could just say, like, yeah, I ain't really fucking with that shit. So here's my stance on it. Hopefully we can see, like, find a way to work around it.
Yeah.
Or agree to disagree in that regard. But, it's also that person's responsibility to speak up.
I agree.
So if you feeling, this way about a scenario and then I disregard it, then yeah, your actions can then be, all right, cool. Well, you ain't listening to me anyway, so now I'm gonna do what the fuck I want to do, like that. You can look at it like that, or you can say, hey, like I don't really feel like I'm getting what I need in this scenario. Like I think we should then part ways,
Right.
But it's your job to speak up and articulate your feelings, your needs, and then your partner has to be the one to decide, this is how we rocking, or again, agree to disagree.
Mm-hmm.
So when it gets to all the cheating and all that, for me, I know it's a lot of dudes that have taken women back after cheating and vice versa. So I understand all of that. But from my perspective, the reason, the rationale, the motive, or just the feeling behind how it happened, to me, it has to be really dissected before you can even consider why you would want to take that person back. Because there's a lot of things to me. It's just one's a red flag and two is like, they ain't the point of no return. If I'm Pap, I wouldn't have been the nigga taking it back after cheating. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Pap's a different dude.
Not from my side
Pap's
of it.
A different dude.
It's certain things when you cross that line with me, it's gonna be irreparable for me. I'm gonna look at you in that much of a different way to where I'm like, I gotta back away even if I love you, because I'm not gonna see you the same as I did before, which is gonna then affect how we, move in our relationship.
Yep.
And I've been a nigga that cheated on someone before too, so I understand what it's like for a woman to have to do that and then get over, et cetera, et cetera. And women do it all the time versus men. Like, yeah, I get that, but certain things women can put up with and certain things men can't. Like, yeah, there's double standards in that regard that don't really make it sexist. It just makes it more of a man experience. You know what I'm saying? Real shit.
The way you said that, it doesn't make it sexist. It just makes it sexist. That's where my brain heard that sentence, because it's like, you just said it's man, and that's what
certain shit is thing. Man things to where it doesn't operate the same way as it would for a woman. Like,
that's the sexist part, isn't it?
That's not sexist. That's just basic understanding of two different
sexes.
Sexist. Sexist has a negative connotation to say like one being dominant over other. Like, I'm just saying how men deal with shit and for how women deal with things is two different, completely different ways to process things. And when it comes to cheating,
that's the definition I'm looking at. But I hear you.
When it comes to cheating, as a man, it's hard to even look at that person the same way. And shout out to women, because y'all got an ability to flip the switch and try and see this man for what you used to see him for. For me as a man, it's like, all right, well, when we get to that, I got too many things to overcome to even get back to a level point with you to where we can move forward. Yeah. I'm gonna just peace out from jump. If that was what actually sparked the
reason why it even
with them going their separate ways, if that was a spark, I'm gonna just peace out from the jump. I'm gonna do it quietly. I'm gonna keep it. Listen, like, you're still the mother of my kid. I do still have love for you, even though you hurt being that way, but we can't be together no more. I get over it at some point, hopefully be able to do a thing to where we can co-parent effectively. But at this point, I just can't. I need like physical separation, space, and I can't rock with you like that no more.
Yeah. I mean, I've been cheated on, so I understand.
I have
the dynamic of not wanting to give anything after someone has done that and betrayed you in that regard. Like, why should I give them an apology? Like, who the fuck they cheated on me? And I think from me, it was like a understanding of giving the apology isn't for me, like, to say, I did something wrong, but rather I'm giving myself the ability to kind of like accept what happened and come from a place of openness. Like, you know what? I'm sorry you felt that was the only way that you could get whatever it was that you needed. I'm sorry that was all you could do, right? I'm sorry I saw a version of you that you could not be for me. That kind of thing, whereas I'm looking at it from a perspective of, what I was talking about. Not necessarily like, it's like,
I get what you're saying.
You put expectations on people.
I ain't knocking it, but I can accept it. I'm going to just accept it over there. Like,
yeah, I'm not saying take them back. I didn't take that person back either.
I'm just accept it over there without even that whole listen. Like,
I'm out. You out.
I'm detachment king. Like,
yeah, you
guys, any of my exes, I'm detachment king. Like,
you out of here, bro.
I'm out of here. I'm gonna hurt. I'm gonna do all that shit on my own and then get it back together, and I'm outside. Like, blood. I'm gonna get it back together, and I'm outside. So
you know what I mean? I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm sorry. I just want to say I'm sorry for you. If you got cheated on, I'm sorry. If you cheated, I'm sorry, man. Just find yourself, man. Find yourself. That's all I can say.
And get the fuck off the internet, y'all. Niggas who older than me. And like,
how old is Remy Ma? How old is Remy Ma? If I'd be throwing that kitty around.
They're 40s. Both of them are 40s.
I know, but I want to get the exact. I want to know what kind of.
Look it up.
Is it 40-year-old kitty?
The old end of the 40s it get, the worse it looks. Like,
she's 44 years old.
Yeah, mid 40s.
She throwing around that 44-year-old kitty.
mid-40s. Like, you know,
Remy Ma.
moving nasty online. And Pap, too. Pap tried to keep it a little bit more respectable, try to operate from a more, like, it seemed like he was trying to gain sympathy. Because
He's 47 on the internet making memes.
Niggas be too old
or
for
making,
this, man.
making, you know what I mean, videos.
If you're not using the internet to get money or just for general, you know, entertainment up to a certain age, then get the fuck off the internet. Like, why am I Papoose sitting around talking to a bunch of niggas who, like, why?
I think
why?
And you know what's crazy? Papoose never got the notoriety that he deserved. He could have been, like,
Is
to
it a
me,
music conversation?
Yeah, a little bit, just a tad bit.
Oh, that's a
Just
whole different ball game.
I just feel like he didn't get the levels of. He's obviously well known. People know his lyrical ability. I just feel like he didn't get the, you know what I mean, like the levels that he could have gotten. I think he was talented. I mean, even if he just was a writer and behind the scenes, he could have. I mean, technically he supposedly was.
Listen, man, y'all get y'all shit together. We're gonna leave it there.
You want to be done with that one, huh?
Another one of those whole TMI situations. Like, I don't want to know all this. Like, I don't.
Between Diddy, like, you know, it's crazy. I had the event the other night, and I literally had to play 90s music, and I was like, I can't touch half of my Serato because all of that was Diddy. I was like, man, all that bad boy music, you got him in the background. I was like, I don't want to hear it because I have a thing. I'm not playing no more Diddy in none of my sets.
I mean, I feel that we spoke about that before,
right? So it's just like
my take on it.
I'm playing a 90s joint, and I'm like, oh, I can't play that. I can't play this. I can't play that. Like 2000s, I can't play I Need a Girl. I can't, like, I there's so many tracks. I'm just like, nope. I'm going through having a hard time. I got to remove a bunch of tracks from my, but do you separate the music from the shenanigans?
You know my perspective already, bro. Like, you know, like, we gonna revisit it. That's cool.
I'm just asking because in this scenario, can we still play Conceited with Remy Ma?
Yeah,
put your right hand up, put your left hand up.
I rock with Conceited still. Right. It's cool.
Cool.
It's cool. I ain't, you know, for me, I'm not putting none of them on that pedestal. And in the whole Diddy case, like, I told you, for me, it's no Diddy, but if it's you artists who work with Diddy, I'm still rocking with you. I'm going to play some shit that has Diddy on it. And I have, and I hear the Diddy parts, I'm like, oh, now this makes a lot more sense as to why, you know, when I hear the lyrics now, but all the other artists he worked with was legendary. Yes, Biggie. Yeah, I'm not playing Biggie because Diddy was on the track. Like, I'm not playing freaking 112 because Diddy was on, you know, I can't. You're going to eliminate too many great artists, you know, songs. And then make your Serato a lot shorter, a lot smaller when you got to be in the party giving it up, you know. I just did a 90s thing a couple weeks ago, and then I had some Diddy shit on there. It was a little piece. It wasn't his song only, but it was a collection, you know, a collaboration of artists. He was on it, and he was the one that, you know, orchestrated the whole shit. So I'm like, all right, whatever. It's a moment. It is what it is. But he's nasty. You know?
I've just been avoiding it. Maybe I'll get there at some point, but it's too soon for me.
Yeah, it's cool. But the thing is, when you do let the music rock, a lot of shit start to make more sense. Like, a lot of shit start to make clear sense as to the individual dealing with through the art when you can really, like, read between the lines of certain things. I will say that. You know, short music, you know, whatever. But
a little riff there,
yeah, you know, off on a tangent. But
it's time for a walk, ain't it?
It is time for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
It is time for a walk, man. We're gonna do this walk with me segment for today. It's going to be off of. We're gonna jump back to the hoops. Actually, you know, walk with me segment is where I start to dive into things that are more organic to me, just because of my lifestyle, my background, my history. An interesting conversation. First and foremost, sparked off of the MVP selection of the man, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shout to that. The smoothest, the coolest assassin on the basketball court out there this NBA season. Could have got it last year, but, you know, we're glad you finally got your trophy. You know, saw the beautiful speech you gave your wife big love, and, you know, talked about how she was the one that showed you love and broke down on the, you know, the first, like, if you were MVP, when is the last MVP we've seen that didn't cry? Outside of Joker. I don't think Joker cried.
Yeah, Joker didn't cry.
Joker's different, though.
Joker is different, but he won 3 MVPs, so that's like a big chunk of what we're talking about here.
No doubt. But the other 4, and even before them, they all cry, you know.
Yeah, Joel cried, right?
Yeah, Joel cried. Mm-hmm. Joel cried. But either way, off on a tangent again. But the conversation was sparked off of that. to one Jay Will, former athlete, legend at Duke, played in the league for a little bit, ESPN analyst at this point. He had this to say about the trend of the MVP award not going to U.S.-born players. So here's the clip if you haven't heard it yet.
More about American-born players or the international players?
The run of international players just doesn't speak about how great international talent is. I think it speaks more about how comfortable and complacent American players have become. Think about all the things that we prioritize. Highlights.
Long talk, but let's walk. You know?
IG reels. We much rather show people all the trick shots than actually put the time in the gym. Now, I'm not saying that speaks for every American player, but as a whole, that's where the American society is at. I had a chance to be a producer on Giannis's marvelous journey. When you get a chance to see how some international players live, how damn hungry they are, how fundamentally sound they are. And also, European basketball, you ever know how damn physical European basketball is? Go over and watch European basketball. Go over and watch some of the traditionally historic teams play. You get a bow when you come down the lane. We have prioritized the showmanship of the game, Mike, and we have lost sight of what this game is about. Now, it just doesn't, there are players who are American players that play hard. I'm not saying that. But I do believe we focus on IG and other things instead of actually
at this point, kind of just reiterate him, so we're going to cut it there. But basic conversation on the Walk With Me segment, being someone who's seen the overseas game in front of me firsthand, exactly, for years now, and seen the rise in European players who come to the American side of things and dominate, whether it be in college or the NBA most specifically, which is what we're speaking about now. It just is a real interesting time, you know, as someone who's seen it happen live in front of my face. Like, I'm old enough to remember freaking Drazen Petrovic being the European stud that came over and started doing numbers in the league. The Vlade Divac is like, you know, Arvydas Sabonis, like those guys who are the European standouts that were down in the NBA, able to play, able to, you know, impact the game in a positive way and, you know, garner some respect for themselves over here.
Right.
But now it's to the point where, again, we don't even have an American-born player who's won the MVP in the last 7 years. So, you know, James Harden was the last one. So, interesting time, interesting place, but I do think that it goes to show that American basketball is kind of on the decline as European basketball has slowly trickled up year by year, you know, making the gap a little bit closer. And we see it in the Olympics now, where we're not just walking through teams, but the shift has been one that's interesting to see. And from my side of things, I just believe that we do got to kind of switch up how we do things here, you know, to then be able to start to see a lot more success from our players being the tops. And it's not to say that we don't have the best basketball country still, because we hands down still do. I will say that. You know, but with the current shift in everything we're dealing with now, with the right now, more specifically with the NIL changing to where, you know, college looks a lot more appealing because the guys are getting the money down there right now, you know, and then that trickles down to the high school level to where everything starts to be about just, like he said, highlights and just money. You start to lose some of the true essence of what basketball should be about, you know, and it does give you something it does something to give the Europeans a lot more kudos for what they've done. And not even just Europeans, like, you know, the foreign-born players. Shea is from Canada, so it's not like, you know, that's over there on the waters. It's right there above us. So just the basketball landscape in America is just at a point now to where I feel like we got to refocus, you know, and the NBA being one part of it, but the foreign-born players being the ones that are now the top players in the league every single year just shows that we're doing something a little bit wrong now, and we need to get back to more of the basics. You know,
I mean, that's one way to look at it.
What's the other?
Should we be putting international players into the American League without them being American citizens? I mean, if you're coming over here,
I mean, you could say that, but then you could say the same thing about us, like the American-born players going overseas.
That's the point. I'm saying
Which is a lot of us doing that as well. So
we're talking about money making and all that, right? We're talking about dollars and cents. Like, do we lease our talent to overseas teams? Yes. Do they lease their talents to the American teams? Yes. When it comes down to the Olympics, though, they always go back home and play for their country. So I'm saying, is there a, because it is money involved. It's not just about the talent anymore. It used to be just about the talent. Now it's about, okay, how many dollars and cents I'm gonna get for putting this ball in the hoop.
I mean, sure, but when you get to that considerations about who's the best players, it is still about talent, and it is still about what you put out on the court. The money side of it is a different part of the conversation for what I'm having right now.
You're talking about American-born versus international.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm just saying,
why are we not putting out products to where these guys, or why have these guys come and started taking more of the jobs in the NBA? Why have these come and started taking more of the higher level of like rankings in the NBA to where the, what was it, last year, the first team All-NBA had one American on it? Like, like why is that the case? And money has something to do with it. But I think money has made us lose sight of what true development of players is, to where when they get to the NBA, they're able to start to have careers that would warrant being more highly ranked or more highly, touted in on that level.
That's fair.
We're not developing people the right way. According to what Jay Will was saying, everything is about the highlight. Everything is about the money part of it. To me, just makes it even more of a muddy. But the highlight era started before the NIL era.
Yes, it did. It did.
Things have been going
That's
different
the new era.
for a long time.
That's the new era. NIL era.
Yeah,
that's the new era.
It's the highlight era first, and then there was the NIL era, to where everybody started thinking they were better than they actually were, earlier than they actually should be thinking that, and then you throw a bunch of money at the players now too, so where you can't really tell them shit.
Can't tell them nothing.
And not for nothing, I would say that there are European basketball players who make money from the game before we had the opportunity to, because i.e. Luka Doncic, who was playing for a professional team from the time he was freaking
19, I think it was.
No, it was earlier than that.
Oh, well, you talking about...
He was coming up the ranks. They have under team, teams that lead up to the main club, but he was playing professional basketball for a long time. So he's getting paid to play the game before maybe like a guy like me could at that point, where I couldn't make money in college. Yep. So they have a different advantage as far as that goes. But end of the day, they're still being developed a certain way that we are not, And just from even back on Luka, when he said coming to the NBA, and he talked about the difference in how easy it is to score here compared to over there, like the style of basketball that we play is different. So that leading into that mixed with all the other things that we just said is where I think we got to refocus a little bit more.
I agree.
As far as how we develop youth and how we develop these kids to then be the pros, And I'm not the first person to say it. Kobe's alluded to it. God rest his soul, was talking about that shit before he passed, about how we develop players. A lot of pros and a lot of guys have chimed in to say that, but it's like, now, how do we shift it to where it's a real thing, to where we can get some of the quote-unquote dominance back? And I think it's too late for that, because the game is so global right now.
It's very global.
And these dudes ain't got no fear no more, I remember being in Italy, and this is a part of the Walk With Me story, but when I was in Italy in high school, before I even got to Marquette, I went on it was a 1-week trip over there with the Gauchos, the New York Gauchos, and we played different teams around Italy. So we did a hop around type joint, and it was literally respect from the teams we were playing to us, to where it's like, yo, I know you're better than me. Like, I don't want to touch you. I don't want to, like, you could just tell. Like, they didn't feel like they belonged on the court with us. Now, them days far gone. Like, far gone. To where these guys from the overseas level really believe that they are as good as and better than the NBA players. And it got that way from them putting the work in, but it also got that way from us getting a little bit like, okay, we got it, and not realizing that the rest of the world is catching up to you, and now it's where it's at now, So
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, so it's a tricky part, man. It's a tricky part of the conversation to say what we do to shift that back in our favor. Again, I think it's a little bit too late now, because now we got a whole bunch of other shit to worry about. We ain't even get guys try to go to the pros like that, because they sticking in college because they're making the bread there. So, you know, it
It's
just gets a little
landscape.
muddier, murkier, but, you know, that's my soapbox, I guess. My
No, I
ISO
love it.
came
I
on
love
that.
it, man. And we're gonna develop. I think, like, I see basketball as I see like the Phoenix, man. It's gonna get so bright and so hot, it's gonna burn up, and then it's gonna come out of the ashes anew, and it's gonna be something different, and we're gonna have to accept and roll with the punches for the changes as well. It happens in hip hop. It happens almost with everything in life. You know what I mean? I think the foreign MVPs is a time frame for them to shine, and it's been what? How many years?
7.
I don't know how many years since we've had like foreign not MVPs, but foreign players at the top, like Yao Ming. Who else? We have like a couple sprinkled through, but they haven't been at the top of the
Over the
league.
last decade, yeah.
Right. So this is their time. I think they've been working very hard for a very long time to get to this level, and now they're reaping the benefits of that. But that doesn't mean that we aren't doing our thing here. There's a lot of talent in the league that's American born.
Bro, next 4 years, when LeBron, KD, and Steph is going off that team, are we 100% bringing home a trophy?
I think it's going to have to come from the crucible of them.
Yes or no? Simple answer. Do you think that in the next 2 to 3 Olympics, how many of those are we bringing home the gold?
2 to 3?
2 to 3 Olympics. How many of those do we leave the Olympics with a gold? That's 8 years.
I
That's
think
12 years.
the next Olympics we got it.
I'm not even confident in that.
Why not?
I'm not confident in that.
Why not? 4 years from now, a lot of the players that you're talking
Once
about are going to be older
LeBron,
too.
Steph, and KD are off the roster,
Yes.
Joel Embiid, don't bring your ass back to the Olympics again. Who else is on that roster? Jason Tatum and the Ant-Man.
And
Who?
Jason Tatum, Tyrese Halliburton, Cat, Jalen Brunson.
Cat's going to play for the Dominican Republic.
Oh, he might do that. Yeah, he might do that. All right, take out Cat. Jalen Brunson.
Okay.
Who else we got here?
If you got to struggle to get a starting five, that says something wrong.
I'm having a conversation.
That says something wrong. About
That's just
going.
something wrong about me not having my names in order. That's not the wrong with the talent.
I think that also lends to you having an issue finding the talent.
All I'm saying is there's names out there. It's not going to be as easy as me sitting on this couch.
Realistic starting five for the next Olympics: Anthony Davis, Bam Adebayo, Jason Tatum, Ant-Man, and Jalen Brunson.
We finally gonna give Kyrie a little something, or he's too low at that point.
Shit. I wouldn't even try if I was Kyrie, and I don't blame him for trying. Like, I'm Gucci. Y'all got it.
Okay, all right, fair. He's gonna be.
And by that time, he's gonna be a dinosaur anyway too.
From back from injury, yeah. So
you
it's gonna be hard for him anyway. So Jason Tatum and Anthony Davis.
Realistic starting five.
Is Chet?
Sure, throw Chet on the team.
Chet in there.
Sure, throw Chet on the team.
Let me see who else we can get in there.
We ain't gonna make it that long-winded. I'm just saying that starting five, I don't think is a clear cut getting it done.
Devin Booker.
No, still not for me.
I mean,
not clear cut. We not clear cut getting it done.
These are good players.
Good players, but good players to say that we are coming home with the gold is not a guarantee. Not with those
it should never be a guarantee, right?
It has been a guarantee for most of the time we've been competing in the Olympics.
We lost one
longer than it hasn't been.
Yeah.
I'm saying next 4 years going forward, the gap gets even more narrow. So I don't know.
I love the quality of players, but you got to look at the other teams across the international landscape. It's not like they're getting all those players on one team. They're getting spread out across their teams as well.
Canada has an NBA roster.
Yes, they have like 4
France
players.
has
NBA
at least 6 pros on their roster.
Are we saying Dylan Brooks is?
I'm just saying they got an NBA roster.
I know, but I'm just saying he's not the same level of caliber as a Devin Booker.
No, but the next 4 or 5 years that might look different.
That's fair.
That might look different.
That's fair.
So that's all I'm saying. So NBA.
The argument is sound. I'm not even saying that you got you got a point. You got a point.
Us here, we got to get that shit together too. With all this shit going on, where we don't know where basketball's going, it looks a lot shakier for us going forward. Where the pipeline for, us to push players towards the levels of greatness that warrant that kind of consideration. It ain't sound. It ain't that sound for me.
It is a global game. We have to accept that as Americans. We cannot be the arbiters of the game anymore. It's not chained to America. It's free flowing and goes way beyond.
You're making my point. That's all I'm saying.
It goes way beyond
my point.
It goes way beyond just us. And as much as we love to have it stationed here and it be our thing because it came from us, it's for everybody now.
You're making my point.
As I'm sitting
Silver
here,
medal is all I'm saying.
as I'm sitting here watching, I would love for, because they got the play-in tournament. I would love for the play-in to have teams from a international perspective.
Right? That's a different comment. I ain't gonna go there. I ain't
Not enough time for the pod.
So we're gonna shut it down there, man. And we're gonna get to our quote of the day.
Oh, you got something for us today?
Quote is back on me. It's short and sweet. I don't know who said it. I don't care who said it. It came across and I liked it. It says that consistency looks like nothing's happening until everything changes. And
that's one of mine, I think. No, I'm teasing.
You can't take credit for the quote. That's plagiarism or whatever they call that.
Plagiarism.
So one more time, consistency looks like nothing's happening until everything changes. And with that said, we shut it down, man. We're going to tell you to stay safe in this crazy world. Guard yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, and all things in between. So until then, from us here at the EFS Podcast, if you've made it this far into the audio/visual, please do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We'll catch you on the next go-round. Episode number 57 is out. Peace. Later.
Much love, EFS.